I'm Chung Nguyen for Notebooks.com, and in this video we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Samsung Epic 4G Touch, which is a Galaxy S2 device for Sprint's 3G, 4G Now network. The Epic 4G Touch is a Galaxy S2 variant with a large 4.5-inch Super AMOLED Plus display. Let's go ahead and take a look at the phone now. So inside the box, what we have here is the tray where the Epic 4G Touch sits. Once you lift that out, you do have the instruction manuals in a neat little package. Have a getting started guide in both English and Spanish, and some important information about the phone. Sprint also includes a handy little recycling envelope, so if you have an old phone, you can go ahead and send it back to Sprint for recycling. And along with the phone, you do have a USB charge and sync cable, along with an AC adapter for plugging into your wall. Those are the only two accessories that are bundled with the phone. There are no headphones in the box. Let's go ahead and take a look at the device itself. The Samsung Epic 4G Touch has a 4.52-inch Super AMOLED Plus display, which is a little bit larger than the 4.3-inch Super AMOLED Plus display on the competing Verizon Wireless Droid Charge. Despite having a larger display size, what you'll notice here is that the dimension, both the length and the width of the Galaxy S2 here on the bottom, is roughly about the same size as the width and the length of the Droid Charge on the top, despite having a slightly larger display. The Galaxy S2 is a little bit wider, but you can hardly tell from the front angle here as I'm holding the phone. The display mainly dominates the front surface of the phone. However, on the top you do have the earpiece speaker along with the front-facing camera. Here there is a LED notification light which does blink if you have oncoming notifications such as text messages, emails, and missed calls. On the bottom of the display you do have 4 capacitive touch Android navigation keys. The cool part about this phone is that you can set the keys, the lighting of the keys to actually glow, so you can go ahead and go into your screen display, and then you can go ahead and set the touch key light duration. By default, it's only set to light up by 1.5 seconds, but you can always turn it to always on, or as I've set it to 6 seconds before it times off and turns the lights off for the keys. Other than the display in the front of the device, the Samsung Epic 4G Touch is a very minimalist device, meaning that there are only a number of hardware buttons. On the left-hand side of the device, you do have the volumes up and down keys. It is a toggle switch, so it is one button, but there's a little wedge here in the middle, so you can tell quickly where the up and down is. My complaint here is that the buttons here for volume could be a little bit bigger, considering the display size is so huge. You can have a little bit longer buttons and have it a little bit more easy to access. On the right hand side you do have the power button, which toggles the screen on and off, so you do have a small power button on the side. Compared to most other Android phones where the power button is on the top of the device, placing it on the side takes a little bit of getting used to. Now onto the left hand side again, you do have a little lanyard hole here, so you can put a lanyard through the loop and have a charm if you want. And on the top you have a 3.5mm headphone jack. Towards the bottom of the device you have a micro USB charge and sync port along with a single microphone jack here on the bottom. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the back side of the device, which has an 8-megapixel camera and single LED flash. The camera can also record videos in 1080p HD high resolution, which is better than the 720p that's on the competing Droid Charge on Verizon Wireless, also made by Samsung. On the bottom of the device you have the rear loudspeaker, which also serves as the speakerphone. There is a slight protrusion here on the bottom, so you do have a little bit of a hump, but it is not as pronounced as the hump on the Droid Charge, as you can see here on the top, which is a lot more pronounced. So this device looks almost as if it's completely flush and flat. Compared to the iPhone 4, the Epic 4G Touch is a little bit thicker than the iPhone 4, but not by much. And you can see, comparing size-wise, that the iPhone 4's smaller screen pales in comparison to the larger 4.5-inch display here. Build quality wise, the Samsung phone is made from plastic, and you can see and feel that it's plastic, but it seems like it's a lot sturdier plastic than the original Galaxy S1 series device. The plastic here is a lot more rigid, and you can also see that this is a textured plastic back, which aids into gripping and holding the phone, so it is not a soft touch variety. Let's go ahead and dive into the software here. The phone is powered by a 1.2 GHz dual-core Exynos processor, which leads to fast response time, and you can see here, scrolling through the different home screens, that it is very fluid. The processor, along with the increase in RAM, I've noticed that this means the phone doesn't lag when you're loading the applications menu. On the Droid Charge, if there are multiple pages of applications, what I notice is that sometimes the device has to redraw the applications menu and repopulate the applications, but on this phone I haven't yet experienced that, so it is a lot more fluid and responsive with the Exynos processor. The device also has ample storage, so in addition to a micro SDHC card slot behind the battery cover and a large 1800 milliamp battery, which is the largest so far on any phone in the US, the device does have plenty of onboard storage. Here you can see that you have about 11.5 gigabytes of USB storage space and about 1.8 gigabytes of device memory, in addition to about 750 megabytes of RAM, so you do have less than a gig of RAM. What you'll notice is that there are 7 home screens, but once you arrive at the last home screen, flicking forward doesn't carousel the home screen to the first one, so unfortunately you do have to flick back. However, you can quickly access any of your home screens just by sliding on the bottom here, which will scroll through all the different home screens, or you can do a pinch and zoom and have all your home screens here like on the HTC devices. But Samsung does give you the option to remove home screens, so you can have less than 7 home screens if you choose to, or you can go ahead and have up to 7 by adding more home screens. What's new in TouchWiz on top of Android 2.3 Gingerbread is that some widgets can be resized, and Samsung gives you a little grid here once you press and hold on a widget to show you the different size possibilities for the widgets. So this is a feature that Motorola had implemented on their Blur interface for a while, and it's nice to see Samsung adopt this as well. Unfortunately, unlike Blur, which a lot of the native widgets are resizable, some of the native widgets here you can't resize. So if you want to add a widget, just tap on a home screen and you can go ahead and do that. And you can't resize the clock widget, for instance. Another cool thing about the widget is that Samsung made use of the accelerometer, so if you tap and hold until the widget activates, and if you need to move it between different home screens, all you would have to do is tilt your phone and the accelerometer would kick in and it would move the home screens around, so you don't have to drag to the next home screen to activate as you would on a traditional phone. So this is one of the cool accelerometer features that Samsung had implemented on TouchWiz. Once you open the application drawers, there's a little bit of a discord here, because if you arrive at the last application screen, if you continue scrolling, it would take you back to the first home screen, or the first application screen, which is unlike on the home screen interface. Some of the applications that Sprint added on to the device include, the native Sprint applications such as Sprint ID, Sprint Mobile, which is the mobile hotspot app, along with Music Plus, TV and movies, Sprint Zone, and Sprint Radio. The hotspot allows you to tether a number of Wi-Fi connected devices to share your 3G or 4G internet connection on the Epic 4G Touch. This device taps into Sprint's 4G network where available, so you do have WiMAX speeds, which is capable of 3 to 6 megabits per second on the download side. To conserve battery power, once you open the notifications drawer, you'll notice that there's a 4G toggle, so you can toggle 4G on and off. With combined 3G and 4G use, I've noticed that the large battery gave me about a full day's worth of mobile usage on this device with heavy web browsing and also on with making several short phone calls. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Social Hub app, which combines both your messages, including your email. So you can I've set up my Gmail here as an Exchange push email. You can also set up your Facebook, Twitter, and you can go ahead and get your combined feeds as well. And you can also add here also a LinkedIn feed. So it does support 3 social networks along with any emails you have. Unfortunately, there is not a universal or unified inbox, so that means that you do have to go through all the different accounts individually, and there's not a main mailbox that integrates all of them. The cool thing about the mailbox here is that once you flip the phone into landscape mode, you do have sort of a tablet paradigm for accessing your email. So you do have a 2-pane view where on the left-hand side you do have your list of emails, and then you can go ahead and access the email content, and you can go ahead and pinch and zoom, and it does auto wrap here on the right hand pane. Unfortunately though, you can't resize the panes, so if you want this column to be smaller here on the left, you can't do that, but it does give you a more multitask friendly tablet usage paradigm, especially considering that this has a larger 4.5 inch. This is a very handy feature, and you can see here that the notification light has started blinking. The other complaint I have with the notification light is that the blinking rate is a lot slower than on a device such as a BlackBerry, so this blink happens about once every 10 seconds or so. Another feature of TouchWiz is the Samsung Keys Air application, which allows you to connect to your desktop computer if you're on the same Wi-Fi network, so you can drag and drop basically different files onto the phone without having to connect the phone to USB as a USB mass storage device. So this gives you a wireless network access to your computer's file system. Unfortunately, you do have to be on the same home Wi-Fi network, unlike on the Motorola ZumoCast application, which allows you to be on separate networks. This is a Sprint ID phone, which means that if you don't like the TouchWiz interface, you can go ahead and activate Sprint ID, which reverts the device into sort of a more native stock Android feel. So this looks a little bit more like the native Android 2.3 interface than the TouchWiz interface. And with Sprint ID, you do get pre-bundled apps, home wallpapers, widgets, ringtones, and other bundles that fit your lifestyle. So if you're into the environment, if you download the eco-friendly Green ID pack, it would have pre-bundled green applications or eco-friendly applications to fit your lifestyle. There's also a football app and apps for different lifestyle, including music, entertainment. So you do have a quick and easy way to personalize your phone that way. In addition to accelerometer functionality, on the home screen where we saw the widgets getting moved around, Samsung also improved the browser so that you can go ahead and quickly zoom in and out using the accelerometer as well. And you can see, you can learn about tilt this way. So basically, let's go ahead and go to the Gotta Be Mobile homepage. and this does come pre-bundled with the swipe keyboard as well. So we're on the 3G network now. 4G is not available where I'm at right now. So just to see the performance of the Exynos processor, once this page starts loading more, we're going to go ahead and scroll through it. And you'll notice that it's very fast and fluid, and you can see that the home page hasn't quite fully loaded yet. But basically the way the accelerometer function works is that you press and hold with 2 fingers, and then you can tilt forward and backward to zoom in and out of the web page that way. Samsung also made some improvements to the GPS, so in the settings, once you go in there, you can go ahead and go to locations, and you can also use both Sprint's wireless network to triangulate your location to get the GPS lock quicker, along with GPS satellites as on traditional Android phones. But you can also use sensor aiding, which enhances positioning using sensors such as the accelerometer and the digital compass here, which helps to work even when you're underground. And according to Samsung, this helps to conserve battery power. Another feature that Samsung has included, as we've talked about earlier, is the display settings, and you can go ahead and adjust the display for the backlighting of the capacitive touch Android navigation keys. So unlike on other Android devices, you can adjust when the light would time out, so you can set it to always be on. By default, it's set to 1.5 seconds, but I've adjusted it to 6 seconds so it stays on a little bit longer before turning itself off. You can also turn on and off the LED notification light here at the top and calibrate your accelerometer and digital compass as well. So this has been a quick look of the hardware and software on the Samsung Epic 4G Touch. It is the next evolution in the Galaxy S1 series, and it is a great follow-up to the original Epic 4G on Sprint's network. Unfortunately, on the S2 variant here, Sprint opted to go with a slim profile device, which means you don't have the slide out physical keyboard that the original Epic 4G has. So you do have a slab device, which I know will turn off some people who are more used to using a keyboard, but it is still an excellent option, powered by a fast Exynos processor, and is a very capable device that users will find that the evolution of TouchWiz is a whole lot better now on the Epic 4G Touch. In conclusion, there's a lot to like about the Samsung Epic 4G Touch, including the fast and powerful Exynos processor, which is a dual-core 1.2 GHz processor, the speedy performance, a lot of enhancements to the phone, resizable widgets, fluid TouchWiz layout, and Sprint ID, which reverts it to a native stock Android look and feel if you're not in love with TouchWiz. However, there are some drawbacks. For instance, the WVGA display, once stretched out on a 4.52-inch screen, looks a little bit pixelated compared to some of the higher resolution QHD phones such as the HTC Evo 3D and the Motorola Photon 4G, both of which are also on Sprint's network. Those devices have a resolution of 960 by 540 compared to the WVGA resolution of the Epic 4G Touch, so they do appear higher resolution. However, when you're comparing just the display visually versus a device such as a 4.3-inch Motorola Droid Bionic, which uses an LCD screen and has a QHD resolution, you'll find that the pixels on the Epic 4G Touch don't look pixelated compared to the QHD Pentile display that Motorola uses on the Droid Bionic. So this does have a little bit of a sharper display in clarity, but we wish Samsung would use a more high-resolution display, considering that the trend is now towards QHD and even higher resolution 720p displays moving into the near future. I've mentioned some of my gripes with the device, including a single microphone here, which doesn't do voice cancellation or background noise cancellation, along with an LED indicator light. Fortunately, there is one, but unfortunately, you can't adjust the speed that the light blinks, so it does blink one in every 10 seconds, so that might be a little bit too slow for users who are more accustomed to the rate at which the BlackBerry blinks, which is about once in every 3 seconds, so this is a little bit of a slower blink rate. It does have front-facing and rear camera. The rear camera can do 1080p resolution. The camera is excellent in both low light and in natural sunlight conditions. There's a single LED flash as well. So improved build quality, a rich and vibrant display, and an improved user interface will make this an excellent choice for those who are looking for a smartphone on Sprint's Now network. The Samsung Epic 4G Touch is a highly rated and highly recommended phone and is a nice alteration of the original Galaxy S2, which has been so far a very popular phone in Europe and Asia where it has already launched. I'm Chang Wen for Notebooks.com. Thanks for watching.